Welcome back to Why This Beer, the show where we dig into the people, stories, and experiences shaping the craft beer we love. I'm Azlan Graves from Main Street Brewing, joined as always by Darren Binnema of Neighborhood Brewing and Yellow Dog Penticton.
Oh, hello.
And today we're joined by Andy Thomas, brewery supervisor at Hook Norton Brewery, one of England's most storied breweries, still family owned and operating from its iconic Victorian Tower Brewhouse, famous for its working steam engine, horse-drawn beer deliveries, and dedication to real ale. Hook Norton is a living piece of brewing history that continues to thrive in the modern beer world. Andy has been part of that story for nearly a decade, starting out in the cask shed and working his way up to supervising production. Along the way, he's become a bridge between Hook Norton's traditions and its innovations, ensuring the brewery stays both rooted and relevant. And today's episode is extra special. It's also a glimpse into collaboration, together with Hook Norton, Neighborhood Brewing, and Main Street Brewing. We'll be sketching out a recipe that you'll see released to the public in the near future. So settle in, from the weight of steam-driven heritage to the clean lines of modern brewing to the design of a recipe that bridges both worlds. This is Why This Beer with Andy Thomas of Hook Norton. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the lovely intro as well. That was very nice.
Thank you. We'll try and wax some poetic, and it's pretty easy with you and your brewery.
Well, it was much appreciated. I think we might have to try and steal that at some point.
So can you walk us through your journey?
Yeah, of course.
From the cask shed, from the start.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, my journey is quite short, really, to be totally honest with you. I've only ever worked at Hook Norton.
Yeah.
I'm a traditional hooky boy myself, so pretty much my family and grandparents and my great-grandparents are all from Hook Norton, so we don't travel too far.
Yeah. Nice.
And pretty much, yeah. So I started off at Hook Norton, and basically was in the pub one night, shock. And we were just chatting, and then one of my friends said, "Oh, there's a job going at the brewery if you fancy it." I mean, don't kill me on this point, but literally all I was a lager drinker, and I mean, this isn't, these are just the bog standard lagers of the UK, the cooking lagers as we call them. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, fine, I'll give it a go. And went in for the job interview and then got it, and then pretty much worked my way up. Like I said, I was in the barrel shed for probably 3-4 months of just taking chives and keystones out, getting covered in old beer,
rancid beer.
Yeah. And really like pushing you to see if you can deal with it.
Yeah.
It was, you got to try and hopefully, get through those few months, and then you can get yourself up the pecking order just that little bit.
Right.
Yeah, so it kind of went backwards really. So started on the packaging side and then went to the start of the process. So from there, I pretty much went into the fermentation room. Of course, we're all open fermenters at Hook Norton.
Yeah.
So that was great. I basically
they're the big like Yorkshire squares, right?
You got it. Yeah, we got the circles, we got the squares, we got everything. So pretty much from there, I started working with Jim, whose son Rob still works at the brewery, and Jim and Kenny is these two guys in the FE room, and they're old school, and learning from them was just great. It was really, really good fun. Put you through your paces again, and then it was kind of like, you do all the heavy lifting. We're going to see if we can really push you into this. And then,
Looking you for what you're worth for a bit.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. And then, was in the fermentation room for a good 2 years or so. And then went up into the main brewery, of course, with, doing the normal day-to-day brewing. And then from there, just before COVID, my boss at the time, he was leaving, and a job offer opened up to become the supervisor. And we went in internally first, of course, and then I went in for it and got it. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I was so not ready for it. It was a shock.
Steep learning. A steep learning curve from day one, I guess.
Oh yeah. And kind of learn as I went along, and we're all the same, aren't we? Brewing, you're always learning, and especially with our brewery, you're always learning something new. and then from there really, I've been brewery supervisor now for a good 7 years,
Nice.
and
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have a great team. The team of the boys are brilliant, and we're always looking to do the new thing, but also making sure we're keeping that tradition there.
That's cool.
And of course, we'll go into that a little bit more with everybody. But and I've got two of the boys who are the brewers are the 6th generation brewers of the family.
Wow.
What's
Incredible.
Awesome. So
Sixth
good.
generation. That's
For
crazy.
those who don't know, like what birthday is Hook Norton celebrating now?
So we are on our 176th year. So James is. We celebrated our 175th year last year. So it's sometimes we feel it as well, but it's great. Like I say, so my boss is the 5th generation brewer, James Clark. Hopefully one day will join us on another podcast of it. He seems quite up for it, but he's basically running the whole business now. But he's so really still dialed in on the brewing side. Me and him work pretty much side by side. He's a very busy man, and to still really be so involved is great. We're really happy with that, and it's really nice to see his sons coming through, and hopefully one day take the reins. George and Ed, they're great guys. We have a great team.
That's cool.
We really do. Yeah,
that's sweet. Cool. For like, how kind of big is your batch size for someone that like me that doesn't know too much about it, or like how big are your fermenters or what that kind of stuff? So I can picture it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So we've got 8 fermenters, open fermenters on site, and the smallest we can brew in them is 35 UK brewers barrels. I can do the litres for you in a minute, or the hectolitres. And the biggest batch we can brew is 120 barrels. So we've got a very vast change of sizes, and all the FVs are different sizes.
Okay.
So it means, and we've got 2 mash tuns. So batch sizes can change completely. What's really nice for processing, especially with cask beer as well, where you've only got such a short life on the cask, really. 1 week can be really busy, 1 week can be really quiet. So we can really dial in and down how much we're actually brewing. So if we've had a great week of selling hooky, and say we've sold 50 barrels, we go, okay, we're going to brew a 60 barreler just to keep it ticking over. But and then the next week it might die down and we only sell 30 barrels. So then the week after we will then we will then brew a smaller one. So we've got a real nice look on that sort of front of it of what we can actually do. Excuse me, my voice. I've been on a golf weekend, and I've only just got back. So I'm struggling a little bit.
Sounds like
when you're saying like the beers, like cask is short shelf life, really fresh. How quick are you talking, like grain to glass with your beer? 7 days. Yeah. Wow.
Well, we brew 7 days. It'd be in cask by the 7th day. We would like to condition it for at least a week in the cellar. Doesn't always go to plan like that. Depends on how busy stock is and everything like that. But that's what we like to do. So I would say really 2 weeks ideally. But from grain to cask, 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. If we're dry hopping, we look at about 10 days,
just to allow for hop creep, kind of.
Yeah.
And you're like dry hopping it in the open top fermenters then?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite funny because people just, you see all these videos, about people opening the
hop geyser,
throwing it in, and then literally shutting it as quick as they can and hoping for the best. Where we just basically sprinkle these pellets on the top of it, and then it just sits there nicely and just doesn't do anything. It's beautiful. And we do
just floats on the crowson.
It's great. It's great. And we do about 3 days, 2 to 3 day diacetyl rest, just to make sure we're getting rid of that VDK basically. And then from there, cool down to about 12 degrees.
Okay. And then it goes into cask at 12 degrees.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
we will. So with the brewery, it's a tower brewery. So everything is done by gravity. So
Sweet.
our fermentation room floor is on the first floor. So basically, our racking tanks. So we have racking holding tanks. So we connect a pipe into the ceiling, and then it drops into the racking tanks. What are basically holding tanks.
Right.
And then from there, we then rack into cask. It's all done on the same day.
Yeah.
It's basically also for production wise, so it means we can get the vessel empty. It
Right.
can then be cleaned out, ready to go. All our vessels are hand cleaned.
Yeah.
So the guys are
Yeah.
in there basically with a greenie pad, a scouring pad, and a little like paint stripper
Yeah.
sort of thing, and
Yeah.
just going
Scraper
around and
thing.
getting.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it, scraper. Yeah, just
Yeah.
taking the crust off and cleaning the vessels. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty still very labor intensive.
Yeah. Hey, quick shout out to our friends at Hops Connect Canada. They've been hooking up brewers with quality hops for over a decade.
Yeah. Started on a farm in Pemberton, and they got warehouses across BC, Ontario, and Quebec. Super reliable, and they actually get what brewers need.
They've got all the classics: Citra, Mosaic, Amarillo, Eldorado, Cascade. The list goes on, with lot selection starting at just 100 kilos.
But what we've really been digging lately is their liquid hop lineup. Total brew day game changers.
Yeah, stuff like Flex for bittering without the wort loss, Incognito for whirlpool flavor without the mess, and Spectrum for dry hopping with no hop creep.
I'm also a big fan of Hop 8 Anti-Foam. Less foam, higher tank fills. That's a win.
And if you're chasing that haze, Hop Haze keeps it locked in for up to 12 months. No flavor impact, just stable haze.
They've even got a brewing calculator on their site to show you just how much time and margin you can save. Super handy when you're dialing things in.
So yeah, if you're brewing in Canada, check out Hops Connect.
Solid people, solid hops. Hops Connect Canada, your partner in craft.
That's wild to me. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I was wondering about that too. I was like, oh, does it all by hand? But I guess so. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing, yeast pitching is kind of that old school thing that I've heard where you're just like krausening off the top kind of thing from last week's or the day before. I don't know how like often you're brewing.
Yeah, no. So it's all on production. We're looking at production pretty much every week. It's always changing. Our production schedule from the start of the week to the end of the week is never the same. But it keeps you on your toes. It keeps us fun, But basically from there, so it's normally about 3 days, and then we'll be skimming the yeast off the top. So we have parachutes, we call them, in the vessels. So they look like little conicals.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it. It looks pretty impressive.
And we basically lower these conicals down into the yeast, and then the yeast goes into the conical through the floor, and then there's trolleys underneath in the next floor down what catches the yeast. And then from there, we then put them into the yeast fridge. So it's pretty old school. I believe the yeast trolleys are from the 60s, and they're still stainless steel. They look great. And we're still using the same ones to this day.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
it gives you. It's a good arm workout as well because they're quite stiff to turn to get them down. So yeah, you get big muscles.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's
cool.
incredible.
So everything's really fresh, and when you're putting when you're putting the beer in the cask at like 12 degrees, are you priming it with like more? Is it still going to ferment like naturally in the cask at that point, or or are you adding any sugar source at all at that point?
No priming sugars at all. Nothing like that. We do a yeast count, and we're looking, a yeast count of around 2. And we will then, rack off into cask. We inline dose isinglass finings. So auxiliary finings will be thrown straight into the vessel. And in isinglass, we have a automatic injection. So we can type in how much we add in to the casks, basically. Right. And then it just inline injects straight into the cask. So when it's filling, the finings goes in with it. It's great. I mean, it's a game changer. I love it. So you can be really precise on how much you're dosing into each cask. We don't really play around with it. It's pretty standard. We're doing about 550 mil into a firkin and about 275 mil into a pint, so it's pretty much just half. And it drops out perfectly for our beer. We also rack off a pint. So pins are
20 liters, just shy.
20 liters. That's it. Yeah. And basically,
Firkins are 40.
That's it. Yeah. And basically, we take 3 samples of that one beer we're racking that day. So we have a fresh, a midlife, and a best before, and then basically we put the fresh straight up onto a stillage that week, and we try it to make sure everything's okay. We're not getting any issues. And then about 3 weeks later, we then put our midlife up, and that's the main one for us. That's the one where that should be tasting exactly what
that's what the customer's tasting.
Exactly. That is the main one. And then we have a best before, what's right at the end of its life, just to make sure we're not getting any real bad infection or anything like that coming through. Yeah, it's just we're not normally. Sometimes by that best before, normally what happens is that beer's already gone out to trade and it's gone. It's disappeared. It's not even that. It's just for our own sake, really.
Nice to be able to see like what your shelf life is on your beer, just in case one pin ends up a little far, or like tucked at the back of someone's cellar and found.
Exactly. It's exactly that. And
what are you typically seeing for your shelf life on your beers? Because they're like there's no pasteurization. They're quick, fresh beers.
No, I mean, I would say on our stronger beers we can go longer, of course.
Sure.
We've got some pins of our 12 days, so it's only 5.5%. But we have some pins of that what we've left from last year, and then we're going to put them up this year and drink those hopefully. And that's a dangerous beer, that one is. What I can go into with you later on. But yeah, we typically I would say 6 weeks. We could push it, but we don't want to. We want to be fresh. We really want this beer to be fresh, and you know what it's like with your cans, isn't it? Really, I think you really want them out and gone by in 2 months, really. Or probably even earlier than that, really, if possible.
In a perfect world, with your priming count, I wanted to ask. You said 2. Is that 2 million cells per mil?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we find that works really well. We normally do the yeast count from the rack and vessel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, is it like fairly carbonated, these casks?
Yeah.
Because the carbonation that's still in solution, I guess.
If possible. Yeah. You've got the secondary fermentation happening at that point, and it's all about your cellar temp. So in the UK, your cellars are going in at 12 degrees. So all the cellars will be running at 12 degrees.
Cool. So it's a bit of a slower process in that. It's kind of
yeah. I mean, really, for us, we would tell our the landlords or anything like that, we would tell them to stillage it for at least 24 hours. So stillage it for 24 hours, and then you can probably start thinking about serving it. We don't sell really any further than a 50-mile radius. We can push it a bit more, but we really keep it quite close. That's so we can have really good control on our cask beer. So that means, like I just said, we pretty much have full control on our cask beer. So we know if it's being done right. The only company we really work with outside of that is Wetherspoons. If people don't know what Wetherspoons is, it's a very big pub chain in the UK. It's known for selling beer at a cheaper price. But it's
a good bargain spot.
It is
quality.
Trust me. Where I was this weekend, I was up in Sheffield, and we had a Wetherspoons around the corner, and they're known for having some sort of clientels in there because of the pricing and stuff like that. So it can be a bit, but the beer is always great. They look after the beer, amazingly. Bear in mind, they have something like, I believe, quote me if I'm wrong here, but I believe about 850 to 900 pubs in the UK. That's how big they are.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not small. Yeah. And they're quite niche as well because they buy old buildings. So it could be in like an old bank. or it could be in an
Okay.
old theatre and stuff like that. It's very cool.
Yeah.
But they're known for doing very lower prices and things like that. But like I said, they look after the beer really well. So they're pretty much one of the only pub companies we work with. But the rest of it is just, it's from the source. We don't brew it anywhere else. If it's being bottled or anything like that, it goes to another brewery where we have it bottled and sent away, basically.
Nice. So with with 10 years now that you've been at Hooky, and like you've over that time, I know you're doing trips to Yakima. You've gone to Harvest a few times now. You've traveled and know quite a few people across North America. So got VIP'd around around the States and Canada.
Yes.
How have your travels, I guess, impacted some of the stuff you're doing at Hook Norton now?
You ever feel like you've got everything dialed in except fermentation?
Oh yeah. If your yeast isn't consistent, the whole batch can go sideways.
That's why we've been checking out Yeast Canada Innovations. They're Canadian owned, brewer focused, and they get what you need. Reliable strains, solid flavor, and real support when things get weird.
And shipping is smooth. They've partnered with Hops Connect, so your yeast comes from the same warehouse, BC, Ontario, or Quebec, right with your hops.
Even better, if you ship together, your yeast ships for free.
And they're not charging premium prices either. The pricing is super approachable, which means more budget for the fun stuff, like more beer.
Here's the kicker. If you're listening to this podcast, you can get 5% off your first order at yeastcanada.com. Just hit up their team for the code.
Yeast Canada Innovations. Let's elevate your craft.
I think, I mean, we're always going to do what we do. You know, we're always going to do the Hooky, the old Hooky, the mild, what I'm drinking right now. Mild is one of my favourite beers we do. It's like anything, it's learning from these people. You know, I've been very fortunate at this one brewery to work with so many like great, phenomenal brewers. And that's all, a lot of that has become because of the Wetherspoons thing. You know, and so we basically every year we have 2 international brewers come to Hook Norton and brew their beer at Hook Norton for Wetherspoons.
Sweet.
And that's always a great fun thing. So, you know, we've worked with some and from that we've worked with some absolutely phenomenal brewers. You know, we've worked with Will Mears from Cambridge Brewing Company in Boston.
Nice.
I'll go into him in a minute. He was a legend when I was in Boston. So we've worked with this guy. You know, Cambridge Brewing Company was one of the first 100 like craft beer breweries in
like a
US.
In the States.
He's a legend. He is a legend. You know, we've worked with Mitch Steele, who made Stone Brewing Company, and you know is now at New Realm. Who, wow! I mean, that guy alone, I was like, I could retire now and I'm done. You know, I'm happy. You know.
I mean, I think likewise for a lot of those people, they're probably pretty excited to get to brew at Hook Norton. So.
Oh, too right. I mean, these guys are just they're up here. You know, in my eyes, they're just they're
They've written books on beer.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That's a good amount of knowledge. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, we've had Jamil from who wrote the book Yeast. You know, he's came to the
Jamil,
brewery as well. We've had Tessa from Land and Sea Brewing.
We
Vancouver,
spoke a bit on that on episode 10. That was pretty great.
Right. Yeah. That was great fun. That was a great fun brew. Quite stressful. So I don't know how much was told about it. But we used spruce tips. In the beer. What was amazing? The aroma was amazing, but trying to get those hops from Canada to the UK was very stressful.
Totally.
We ended up having
ambitious process.
Oh yeah, and I think the hop company what was used, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the hop company. They were great, but I don't think they realised how. I think they thought you could just package it up and then send it across over the world and it would be fine. But HR and customs over here think of different things, and we had to get all these certificates and everything. And it was right by Christmas time, and everything closed.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Oh,
well, we need
jeez.
these hops here and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but they had to send them to a lab on the other side of Canada. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like for us,
The
if we
newest, the
sorry,
newest things with hops is that they're really cracking down on pesticides,
yes,
Yeah.
which is good, but it's also like it's changed like what Canadians and Europeans can actually get from the States. Like the States has more relaxed view of pesticides and hops, but like Canada and Europe, I know have like, and even Asia have like more strict regulations on a lot of these, and so it's kind of changing like what's allowable to get it. Yeah, so
exactly that.
a fun wrinkle.
And
Yeah.
so pretty much we got them 3 days before we were meant to brew with them. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I was going up to a brewers conference, and I was literally UPS. I was refreshing it every minute just to see where they were.
Has it cleared?
yeah.
Has it cleared? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a stressful time, but it was great, and the beer came out really, really good. We were really happy with it, you know, and it's something really cool and interesting. And going back to what you first started with, Azlan, is these brewers come here and they teach us what they do, and we teach them what we do, and we just learn from each other from it. And I think that is the biggest bit of fun we've had with it, is all these guys do these different techniques, and then we try and replicate it with our old kit. Always makes it really fun and interesting. You know, we had Mitch there who done his Hoptropolis, a 6% beer, what was like 3.6 ton, now mash tun. Really, we shouldn't put any more than like 3.4 in. So we were like, it was really like, we could see it coming over nearly over to the top. And we were like, how much more left? And we were shouting to the guy above, is there much more left? We need to try and thicken this up. And it was, but it was great. It worked, you know. And we didn't.
It's amazing that like a 6% beer on your system is just like way too big for the mash tun.
Yeah, well, it was for the amount. We only have a certain amount of time to really do it all in.
Totally,
you know. And
it's
the
all
problem with it
gravity
is,
fed
because they send the brewer over, so the brewer's with us, and we get like 3 days with them, and then they're gone. And it's just like, right, we have 3 days to make this beer, and to make the amount they want us to make. So for the latest Wetherspoons,
for Witherspoons,
yeah. The latest one, we did about 850 firkins just of that one beer. So
so like 400 hex.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's
Jesus.
Off the top of my head. It's a serious amount.
Yeah.
So we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot from those guys. And you know, when the guy who writes the book Hops is talking to you about dry hopping, you listen and you do what he says. And, you know, and we learned so much from that, and we've taken those things and we've added them into our process as well. And we've learned a lot from that. Tessa from Nancy was amazing, and basically picked me up and took me Vancouver. You know, we went to Lupolo.
Nice.
Wow, what amazing lagers, and what an amazing place, and they looked after us so well. I mean, they went and
you
picked
guys
up
were there
oysters.
when they did the oyster stout day, right?
That was the one. That was it was Tessa's
that's fun.
Beer, with them. So I just basically you sat in the background
oysters.
and just like and ate oysters. It was great. And then we went to Main Street, of course, with you, Azlan, and then we went to, is it Will's Brewery? I can't remember which one that.
Oh, 33, yeah, that's 33. Right. We went over to 33 Acres,
yeah. It's just amazing to learn from all you guys, and it's amazing how much you can learn just by looking, you know, at the board of what beers are going on, and
for sure,
what people are drinking, and that's something I really took away from it.
I think it's amazing, like when you travel, and it's like all the time I'll go through my like travel photos, and there's just like photos of a menu.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
the same way.
Crazy. I'm like, crazy. This is what they put on happy hour. Cool. And like. You know, and seeing what people drink. Like, I mean, this kind of leads to one of the questions I had here is like, for North American brewers, it's rare. Like, it's rare to have a beer under 4.5%. And like for you guys, like your top selling beers are 3.4. Like, you know, and I mean, lower. Like your Hooky Mild's 2.8, right?
2.8. There it is, right there.
2.8.
Yeah. Out there drinking it now, you know. I think, you're completely right. It scares the hell out of me when I come over to your sort of side of it, because the English are known for drinking in quantity. We like to drink. We were talking about it just before we started this podcast. We like to go out for an early session, so we'll be bang out at 12 o'clock, and we'll be out there until hopefully around 8 o'clock, and then that's when you walk away with a Chinese in your hand and go to sleep at half a decent time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wake up in the morning, well rested. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. But by that time, you could have had 12 to 15 pints.
Yeah.
But it's all at 3.5-4%. But yeah, when I come over, it's like, wow, okay, actually, Andy, you need to slow it down. You need to make it through the day. And
if you're drinking at the same pace you normally would, it'll catch up to you. Oh, I even see it with people just drinking IPA as opposed to like lager.
Yeah,
it's like you get a pint of IPA, like a 20-ounce pint of IPA. That's like 2.5 lagers.
Like,
cans
it's
of lager
insane.
Right there in one beer, pretty much with alcohol. It's like, wow,
it's insane.
You don't think about it, but it's like, wow, that's a lot.
A lot of things in the UK, if it's higher ABV beers, a lot of the time they will only serve them like a half or even, less than that. If it's a stronger beer, of course.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's the North American side of like having the big gulp, the giant coffee cups, all of that.
Coffee's big. It's all big.
It's my God-given right to get a 20-ounce imperial stout.
Too right. And it's like, for us as well, there's a whole different way of taxing over here. So you're taxed on the ABV of the beer. So there's certain thresholds. So things like, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's something like 2.5% to say 3.4%. That'd be a certain tax. And then after 3.4%, it could be up to 0.5%. It will be a higher tax. And that keeps going up and up and up. So the higher the ABV of the beer, the more tax you're going to pay on that.
Yeah.
Basically, the more duty you're going to pay on that beer. That's why also you're seeing a lot in the UK at the moment, is seeing a lot of breweries doing lower ABV beers. You see a lot of 3.4% beers out there nowadays because they can sit under that threat. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so that's a major factor into it, I would say. Also, probably the same as what it's like, I think, across the whole world now. People are, going, well, I don't want to drink as much anymore. We definitely see a difference in our drinking culture of the younger generation. So the uni students and all that, they're not going out and drinking like they used to, sort of thing. It's kind of like not cool to like drink, but we've got to think about our health a lot more and things like that. So I think that's why also a lot of these non-alcoholic beers are now coming out and everything like that. I think it's shifted everything quite heavily. But we've definitely seen a culture turn in the last 5 years of the low ABVs. Definitely.
Yeah, well, it's right up your alley. You're set for success there.
Yeah, I mean, I keep trying to do my bit. Trust me.
When you're building out these beers, like I feel like a lot of North American brewers are always like, oh man, it's hard to like create body in a beer that's like sub 4.2. And when you're getting to like, what are you doing to like try and preserve as much body? Where are your mild, for example, finishes at 2.8? What's the final gravity on that beer?
Final gravity on that beer will be roughly, off the top of my head, it would be about 10.6. Sorry, we're not working in Plato. Sorry.
Specific gravity.
So we're dropping quite low. I think a lot of it also is our OG might be quite a bit higher. So we might be, if we're doing a 2.8%, say the mild, we might be running a original gravity of around 1031.
Okay.
So we're going about 3 above. So you're leaving quite a bit of residual sugar behind. Of course, we normally mash in at around. Bear in mind, we still work in Fahrenheit at Hook Norton as well. So we mash in at 155 Fahrenheit. 68.8 degrees Celsius. So we're mashing quite high as well. Of course, that's gonna keep that sort of body up there as well. The only real ones we mash differently is one of our beers called Sundial, what's an IPA, and our lager as well, where we mash a bit lower. But typically, I would say it's that specific gravity and our mash temp we're really concentrating on, and that gives you a lot more fullness in your beer. But I think especially of what I've been taught and shown over the years is basically making sure that strike temp is it's bang on every time. You know, we have two guys mashing in. We have the guy watching the control of the amount of liquor to grain ratio going in, and then we have another guy literally controlling temperature. And that's their sole jobs, is just to control those two things. And that we feel that's something what's a big thing for us. I think it's, if you can get a 3.4% beer good and consistent, I think that's what's the main thing. And way before I even started at the brewery and stuff, these guys who have been doing it for years, they got it just dialed in. And that's nice. You know, and to learn from these old guys was just great. They'll probably kill me for calling them old guys, but they probably, they probably don't even know what a podcast is, so I'll be fine.
There you go.
It's fine. But they just learning off these
literally
guys.
A well-oiled machine, though, eh?
Yeah, literally a well-oiled machine. Yeah, food grade
food grade oil.
But it was learning from all these guys. You know, that was the main thing, really.
Do you get a lot of body? Sorry, do you get a lot of body also, like, from the malt composition, or like, how do you go about building a recipe like this? Is there a high percentage of it that is like crystal malts, or that's not going to ferment out later, or like, how does that something like your dark mild, how does that beer look like, a 2.8% beer?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're if you want, we'll go into Hooky a little bit with we got Hooky and Old Hooky. We'll go into those two. So they're pretty much, the recipe is the same amount is the same 3 malts, and it's the same 3 hops, but they're just dialed differently. So we use Marisotta as a base malt with pretty much everything we do. So we're using Heritage Marisotta still to this day. A lot more expensive, but the flavors you get out of it is just wow, you know. And
when you say Heritage Marisotta, are you talking like the crisp number 19, or are you talking like
we're talking about just normal Marisotta, not the Heritage 19. Unfortunately, that would be breaking the bank quite a little bit more.
I was like, whoa.
As opposed to like more of a more generic, like 2-row.
Yeah, we're buying about 30 ton of Marisotta at a time. So we have 2 silos what hold 30 ton, and one silo will be Simpsons and one silo is crisp maltings. So we alternate between the two. That's just something what's always been done at the brewery. It's keeping that with both sides of it. James has been doing this for a long time now, and he's got so many great relationships with these people. We want to work with them, we want to use them, so we always try and work with these maltsters, and they're great. Delivery comes, certificate of analysis, bang, there you go. We can tweak whatever we need to do for each batch. What's great. But going back to what we were.
Sorry, you'll blend into the same recipe, like 50-50 Thomas Fawcett and crisp, Emma?
So it'd be Simpsons and crisp,
Simpsons.
Sorry. Yeah. But no, what will happen basically is we'll run our 30 ton of Simpsons silo. That will then empty. We will then go onto the crisp, and then we refill the Simpsons, and then it's just going like that sort of thing, really.
Yeah. Nice.
And then from there, we're using Crystal Medium from Simpsons, pretty much. And then we use Dixon Enzymic, what is an acidulated malt. There's only, I believe, 2 breweries what are still in the UK, us and I can't remember who the other one is, who are using Dixon Enzymic malt. So we use that just for pH, basically.
Okay.
And just to help with that. But that is pretty much the base. Yeah, simple stuff. And then we're using Fuggles, Golden, and Challenger.
Nice.
Yeah, Fuggles, Goldings, and Challenger into the boils, and then we're using Goldings into the hopback. Pretty standard, really. But it works. It's about, I would say, the main thing is really trying to get consistency bang on all the time. And
sorry to circle back, but I'm so curious about this. Like, I would do way more malts in my small beer. But how big of a percentage of the crystal is your malt bill then? For a 2.8%, or I don't know what the Hooky
question.
Old is.
So Hooky is 3.34.
3.4.
3.4, yeah, and then Old Hooky is 4.6.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, the mouth. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I would go that crystal medium is about in hooky. You're looking for an amber, so
Okay.
we're probably looking at about 5%
Okay.
of our malt bill, and enzymic's like 1%. It's
Yeah.
literally like 1%. And then I would say with our old hooky, you're probably looking at more crystal medium is probably more on the 10% side. So because it's nearly like a ruby red sort of color.
Nice.
To it. But yeah, it's a pretty standard process, really. But it's just getting that balance of the malt and your bitterness. I would say that is the biggest thing, is making sure that balance is right, to get that sort of one the body in the beer and the drinkability of it for us. Hooky. James always explains hooky like it's a beer what's just there to be drank. It's not there to be talked about, and
Right. Yeah.
it's there to do its
Yeah.
job in the pub. What is hopefully that person's going to drink one without even really thinking about it because he's talking to his friend,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
basically from there he's then gone to the bar and got another one without even
Yeah.
kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing what a hooky is, really.
Yeah.
I
Old
always like to
hooky
say it's like the beer I think about all day, so you don't have to.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Old hooky is a great beer to sit by the fire on a winter's evening, in the pub, chilling out, the dog's in the corner. It's that
Yeah.
sort of beer, really.
And so that's a
and-
higher amount of crystal and just
Yes,
a bigger, slightly
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
More bitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
about 10% crystal medium.
Yeah.
Probably looking at 2% enzymic.
Yeah.
And then, it's pretty standard, really. But like I say, it's just getting those balances right, I think, is the main thing. And the consistency. That's the most difficult thing.
Yeah. Sweet. And are you guys using, you said you have a hop back, like are you using whole cones for everything?
Yeah.
Or whole leaf hops? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So a whole leaf in the main brew house, it's still built for whole leaf.
Yeah.
We can put a little bit of pellet in the hop back, but we can't put too much in there because it basically, because of the false bottom on the hop back, it just clogs to it, and then we can't get the wort through the plates. So we have to. It's a very small amount. Like with our sundial, I believe we put only like 5 kilo of mosaic in there in T90, and then the rest is I'm trying to remember what it is off the top of my head. I'll come back to it in a minute. I'll find it. It's quite a new beer, so I'm trying to remember.
Get yourself some hyper boost.
Yeah. We are looking at trialing out some different hop oils and things like that. Because we are probably struggling a little bit with the bitterness on it at the moment, because when you're dropping the beer in the hop back, you're still hitting it around 90 degrees. So you're still picking up some of that, bitterness.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get that dial right at the moment. And we're looking at, maybe we did a batch of sundial not long ago, tasting great, but the bitterness, because it's been it's gone through a pasteurizer and it's also gone through a sterile filter. It really leaves a bit of that bitterness behind. So we found the bitterness was more than we wanted it to be there. It really overshone it. So now we're just trying to dial that back. So we are going to look at maybe use some oils instead, just to help with that. What's the fun of it really is playing around with this old kit and thinking, we're also thinking if we can try and make the hop back into a whirlpool as well. So can we come in through the side of it and, spin it and do all this fun with it. So we're trying to be innovative as well.
Yeah. That's the fun of it, right? Just figuring out what's going to work on your system, what's not going to work. Azlan's doing decoctions on his, thing that's not supposed to do a decoction. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Too right. And that was one thing what I loved about Lupolo Brewery as well. That they that kit is
Ryan's made some stuff work.
Oh yeah. That kit
Ryan's,
is just watching him, like, he makes all the out of bits of like stainless pipe. He makes all these random bends and things like that, and then it goes in. And I didn't even know where we were in the brewing process that whole day. He was like, "Oh, it's in there now," and then I'd turn around and then he would go, "Oh no, it's in there now," and you'd like, "Where did that go?" It's just, it was phenomenal.
And some really complex recipes as a result too. Like he's It's
He's brilliant.
he's very much
I
of that
really enjoyed
mindset where
it.
you're like, I'm like, how can I get my 2 vessel system? He's like, oh, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, so in theory, I think if you were to do this and this, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. While we're talking about recipes, should we talk about what beer we want to make, should make?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
I don't know.
That'd be great.
One of the things that I guess started this whole discussion or thought, I mean, I think, Andy, when you and I met, it's a couple days after I think we had released Tessa's episode, and you hit me up being like, hey, anytime you want to chat, we should do this. Give some great compliments. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Then this year during the craft brewing conference, Charles Farm was doing a hop giveaway. So why this beer entered, and we got some hops. So we figured, what a better way to, and who has more experience with these new Charles Farm UK proprietary varieties than yourself. So Most and Harlequin are kind of the main things that we're gonna use that's guiding it, but other than that, it's kind of up to us.
Great.
Have you used Most or Harlequin before?
So I've used Most once, and it's a bit of a story behind it. I'll try and do it nice and quickly. And basically, I've got a little Grainfather G30.
Oh yeah.
30-litre kit at home. Well, it's actually at the brewery at the moment because I thought I'd get more done if I had it there, and it hasn't been used once since, so I'm bringing it back home again. But we're basically, I've just bought it. I was excited, and there was this home brewers competition, and it's like, I'll make a beer and then send it in, and then we'll do it. And at the bottom, it basically said, no brewers are. No allowed
commercial brewers.
Yeah. And so I was really, but I really wanted to do it because it was about using all English hops. You had to make a beer with English hops.
Oh, fine.
What is like my, I love doing it all the time.
That's your passion project, yeah.
That is my passion project. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do it. Nobody's going to know who I am. I just send my name on it and I'll just send it away. Nobody's going to know. And then I sent it away and didn't think anything of it. I used the Most in there. And I was just sat on the sofa one night, and then next minute I got a phone call from the guy saying, oh, by the way, you were in the last 3. And so we're not going to tell you who it is, but we want you to be online when we announce all this. Are you free? And and all this sort of, and can we put you like this, like we are now, your face on it. And I was like, I'm really, really sorry. I'm not around. If you just carry on without me and all this sort of stuff, because I was terrified somebody's going to go, hang on a minute, he works.
Wait a second.
Not thinking they would know me, but I know what would happen. Somebody would see it, and I was like, oh dear. So I ended up coming 3rd, I believe, in it. And ever since, I never told anybody that story. So doing it on a podcast now, I'm hoping.
No, it's out.
And I'm not going to say which one it was.
There you go.
It was quite
Stolen
a big one.
valor.
Yeah. So I kept that very quiet for a long time. So that's the only time I've used Most, and I'm really excited to use it. I've used Harlequin quite a few times. I love it. I think it's such a dual purpose hop. The aromas you're getting out of it. James was actually saying to me yesterday that they did a fresh hop beer yesterday at the brewery.
Oh, cool.
I was
with
away,
Harlequin.
they used Jester. Another UK variety.
Yeah.
So they all drove on their motorbikes to Malvern, what's about a hour's drive from Hook Norton. So they all drove on their motorbikes, picked up the hops on the motorbikes, and then drove them back to the brewery, and then put them literally straight in. So they brewed the beer yesterday, and so I'm really excited to use that. And that was 20 kilo of Jester in a 5 brewers barrel batch, about 818 litres. And James was saying basically he sniffed some of the Harlequin off the vines, and he said it's smelling amazing. And he's saying the characteristics of what you're getting out of it from an English variety hop. He said 10 years ago you would have never thought you would get something like that from it. What's really exciting, I believe the yield was down a bit this year because we had such a warm summer. The UK, I think, had it was a ridiculous summer from like pretty much April till now, really.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
been
same.
hot. It's been warm.
It's super nice.
Yeah, it's been great, but not great for farmers. And yeah, so I think the yield's been down a little bit this year, but James was saying yesterday the Harlequin is smelling incredible this year.
Yeah.
And what, I don't want to digress too much, but what farms are doing at the moment with the innovation of the English hops is just second to none at this minute in time.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be, the next 5 years is going to be really exciting on the hop side of it in the UK.
Totally. So like my experience with Most, initially I started using it because Most is a unique one. Happened around the time of, they released the name around the time of Brexit. Most is the Czech word for bridge. The idea was that it was a bridge between the UK and the Czech Republic, because Most is actually an English variety grown in Czech. To kind of use Czech terroir to kind of help influence the hop in a certain direction. Most has a lot of like red berry character, and I initially started using it in Czech beers. I used it in a Czech dark lager, and it was too fruity and impactful. It was like, and this is the way I always kind of play around with these things, is because I'm like, I will be pleasantly surprised if this is too much. And it was. It kind of gave off some, like, in that dark beer, it kind of lent towards like sarsaparilla, but like some bramble characters. So then I did like a English blonde ale, and once again, insanely berry characters from like Whirlpool editions with Most.
Yeah, you sent me that beer, and I was like, "What is this?" It was great.
And then
like English blonde ale. I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be a nice, like, golden ale with like a little bit of classic
little hedgerow thing going on."
Thing, and then it's like, "Oh wow, this is like very fruity, like quite fruity." It was great.
Then when I was in Czech in May, Budvar actually had fresh hop Budvar lager with Most.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And same hop character. Like, and I was chatting with Adam, and he's like, I can't believe this beer. This is my favorite. He's like, Adam, the head brewer of Budvar. He's like, this just changes it. It's so cool.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. I think Most in whatever beer we make, hot side Whirlpool. Let's get some of that. It's like Bramling Cross on steroids.
Yeah. And again, I was just about to say Bramling Cross. Then it's like you say, it's that sort of character to it. And one of my favourite hops to use is Bramling Cross. If I can get to use it, I will, whenever I can, really. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I haven't got much experience with Most, so I'm really excited to use it. So the moment you said about that, I was like, oh well, this is an excuse now. I can use this.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to try this one out.
And then Harlequin is one I don't have a lot of experience with. So what are you like? Where are you typically using that? Do you dry hop with it? Do you use it for bittering chard?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. We don't use it for bittering as much. But that's because I'm quite. If it's me doing the beer, if it was myself, I like to use things like Challenger or Target. I love using Target at the moment because it's just such a clean bitterness to it, nice and clean. And I'm just quite, I don't want to say I'm boring with what I do, but I just I like what I get out of those ones. And then, so I would say Harlequin for myself, I would put, in the hop back, or we'd put it as a dry hop, or Whirlpool, that's what I would say, really, in my eyes. I love using it. It's such great.
Characters you get from Harlequin, like, what would you describe it as? Do you have something you can compare it to?
Let me think about it for a second. That was a good question. I'm trying to think. I haven't used it for a while. But no, it's all right. I haven't used it for a while.
I always love with like a Google. I'll give you some time here, but if I just Google it, and I love this with like British hops and Slovenian hops and experimental Czech hops. They're always like the characteristics. This is characteristics of Harlequin: passion fruit, peach, and pineapple. And I'm like, I just, no offense, I just don't see it. Don't see it. I want to believe it, but it's just not going to be the same.
It's definitely there. It is
like,
definitely there, and you do get that off of it. You know, you can get those aromas off of it and stuff. And I've been to Charles Fairham in the UK. I think they do them in Canada as well. Is they do the aroma fests, so they might have like 20 of the new varieties they're growing at the moment out on the table, and you go round and you mark them, and you know you say what you think. You say what you think you get off of them and things like that. And I'll be totally honest with you, I haven't got the best of noses. I'm not, the best from it. I'm really not. A lot of the time I might send, like Ed Clark, one of James's sons, something like Ed and George have got great noses on it, like phenomenal noses on it. So
born with it.
Yeah, definitely. They are born with it. So, it's something definitely I send them boys to a little bit more. I did go to the last one, I loved it, but what I was getting off of it, and then people would say what they're getting off of it. I was like, really? You're getting that? I'm getting something completely different. But that's what they kind of want from you anyway.
Yeah.
But I'd say, you probably would get those aromas, but it's probably not as strong as probably what maybe you guys
I like to tell people, like, compared to Yakima hops, like with a lot of that stuff, it's like the English hop varieties are that, but with like an English sense of restraint. It makes it sessionable. It makes it moreish. It's not going to like bludgeon you.
I listened to a podcast a little while ago, another one of a UK one, and he was like a bit like you've just done there, is talk about it, literally reading what they said, and they did a beer with it, and it was like, oh, it's like they threw the passion fruit into a hedge, and you just can't really. You get the odd little note of it or something. Honestly, what some breweries have been doing with them is phenomenal. Another, just digressing just a tiny bit, we another great hop I love using it. It's Olicana is a new one of theirs. The notes you get off of that, it's like tangerine and everything like that. And I used it in a one of our beers last year, and I used it with caramel, and wow, those two, that caramel and
they play off each other well.
Oh, it was, it was really good. I kept saying to James, we need to brew this beer again. We need to brew this beer again. And we did. Nice. And it was, but we're using, for us, we're using quite a lot in the dry hop. We're using, and I think we use about 5.5 grams a litre. What's a lot to us. So, I know that's nowhere near what some of the other guys are doing.
That's pretty good.
Olicana is also that was the first UK hop to be done as a T45.
All right, interesting.
Interesting.
I had Olicana T45 a couple of years back for we did like a India porter.
Nice. What did you think of it? What do you think of the hop itself?
It's pretty good. It's like mango. There's a little bit of that classic English earthy kind of terroir, but I've got like a lot of mango and stone fruit kind of off of it. It's pretty neat.
I love it.
I think the T45 aspect definitely helped remove some of the earthy terroir.
Right. Yeah.
I like to say. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Darren.
Oh, I just like I like where we're going with this, and I think to me, I'm like, the idea is, we were talking like maybe a red ale or something like that, as like a base, like malt wise, but then like letting these hops kind of come through, and then either like being pleasantly surprised of like how much peachy, kind of fruitiness we get from it, or like kind of just see how they work with the beer. I think with a red ale as a base, you have like it's a pretty safe bet where like it's going to be a very either pleasant English red ale, or it's going to be like, wow, this is like, it's not quite like an American
Cascadian red ale,
Cascadian red ale, but it's like maybe somewhere in the middle, which I'm like, that sounds pretty nice, especially going into, I'm always thinking like seasonally, like, oh, we're going into fall here. Like that totally fits this time of year. Put on your sweater and have a cozy red ale. Like, oh, maybe a little, maybe if there's like a little peachy note in the background, it just kind of reminds you of the summer that was.
Or that red fruit from the most. It's like berry, stone fruit, like more round, less sharp hop character. Like when it's like citrusy hops, you're like, oh, that doesn't work well with the malt sweetness. It's like it's like two high notes, you need them to meld a bit better.
Yeah.
I really like going down the route of the red ale. I think that's definitely for me, like you say, with this time of year, Darren, as well. I think that is the way to go with it. And I think, like you were saying, Aslan, with the most, I think it's going to work. The balance of the both, I think it's going to work really nicely. So I'd like to go down that route. I don't know if there's something like we might want to put a little bit of red rye in there or something like that.
There's
that bit of spiciness.
I think for us we can get the Simpsons red rye.
Yeah, that's what we use. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be great. Rye also naturally kind of the color lends towards red, doesn't it? Like even like if you use malted rye, it's already leaning that direction. When I don't know if like, do you guys do a lot of red ales at Hooky? Is that like
we've got our red rye, so we've actually literally got a beer called red rye. It's we always make the joke.
As long as we're not stepping on toes too much, then.
No, not at all. No. And we always make the joke of like we pretty much brew red rye just for ourselves because only brewers really drink red ryes anymore. Rye beers, and
like the there's the Instagram account. Remember Red Ale.
No, I didn't know that. But that's very good. Yeah, our beer's probably on there somewhere then. But yeah, we only do a small run of it now. Really, it was a kegged beer of ours, but we pulled it from this year just because it's not selling anymore, and
that's unfortunate. Yeah,
it's very unfortunate because it is a great beer. It really is, and like I say, we're brewing it for bottling, but that's about it now.
The brewer's curse is that, like, whatever beer we love brewing is the beer that sells the least, and who knows how much of that is us or market, but we also tend to gravitate to the beer that's not being brewed the most.
Yep, too right. We've just finished brewing our Crafty Fox, was our black IPA, and we love it. Again, we love that beer, but nobody drinks it anymore. It's like the has been done and dusted. See you later, sort of thing. But yeah, it's a good one as well. That's the upsetting thing about it. But
it's like you got it where you wanted it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, finally, but it went out of date like 5 years ago. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
So, Simpsons Red Rye. When you're targeting red ale, and like much like we were just saying, none of us have the chance to brew enough red ales. But what I know, like for myself, when I've previously done it, in order to achieve that like bright ruby color, using a lot of like Cara Munich from Environment, honestly, is kind of like how I did it. Ironically, brewing Irish style with German specialty. But almost hitting like, I don't know, I guess like 15-20% Cara Munich 1 with other specialty red. I'm kind of like curious. I've used Red X, which is like Best Malls. That's a German. And I know Gambrinus now has Mars Malt. That's there.
That's right. Yeah.
But I don't think you'd be able to get Gambrinus. So this is the other thing, is we want to obviously make it something that we can brew on both sides of the pond.
Yeah, completely agree. And we just had the Vermin. We just had the rep actually in the last month come to the brewery.
Oh, cool!
Just to pop in. Yeah, so we get we get a little bit here and there of Vermin stuff. And there was one, I believe it's the one you were just talking about, Aslan, the Cara Red.
There's Cara Red, there's Cara Munich 1.
I think he said the Cara Red, it's like you could literally, he said, I can send you this recipe what Vermin made, what basically makes this beer look like a fire engine red. I was like, okay, this is interesting then. So the Vermin stuff we can get hold of and play with. So I'd love to, like say, if we want to add something else in there to get that, more of that red colour than the rye. Because I find, especially with the red rye, if you're using more than, I don't know, say 10%, you get that real spice character really coming through.
It's pretty overpowering.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like looking somewhere else just to help with that. Maybe not
build that out, without it becoming overwhelming. Yeah.
Correct.
So I've used, combination of and this was actually like doing a collaboration with Purple Moose
Mm.
in Wales.
Yes.
It was Melanoidin, Cara Munich 1, and Cara Red.
Nice.
I think
Okay.
for that beer specifically, probably could have had a bit more Cara Red or Cara Munich.
Yep.
I think at that point we did like something like 40% Maris Otter, and then the rest
Okay.
was specialty.
Oh,
So
wow.
Yeah.
like,
Wow. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
quite
Using
blown
a lot
back
of-
when you said that. Then. Yeah.
using a lot of Munich, like lighter Munich malts and higher tones in order to, and like Crisp actually has a neat article on building out red ales because they don't have any red ale specific malt.
Yeah.
They talk about their Munich malt specifically as like creates a pretty bright ruby red character.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my kind of thought would be more like building out a recipe with lighter Munich malts to give it like a lot of that depth of flavor with the Maris Otter too. But then it'll start to give some color, and then like my probably instinct, which would be different, would be go like just and then a handful of really dark malts to give
Use
it
that roast barley.
Yeah, just like that's kind of like my like instinct. It's like, okay, a little bit of that for color without like a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
And then that would be less like caramel leading and more like, okay, it's going to be malty, and then you're just like food coloring with roast barley or something like dark like that.
Yeah.
Or good wholeness kind of.
I was gonna say Carafa 3 has like a really nice light red character, or like ruby red character, and it's dehusked.
Yeah, if you go like really light with it, like light-handed with it,
yeah. Well, that Carafa Special Type 3 is what we use in our black IPA.
There you go.
We use that, but it's quite heavy on that side of it.
With that beer, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'd be really excited, really, if possible, to use something else than just the red rye, and something that I haven't used before. What would be quite fun. But also, I like your advice. I like the idea of maybe also using a lot less of the darker malts. Just a handful sort of thing. I am quite interested in the Vem, and when we started talking about that, and I was quite interested, especially when it brought it back to me about when that guy said, "Oh yeah, we can get." Like, I'll have to have a look which malt it was. He said, "Yeah, we can get you like a fire engine red out of it." It's like, okay, this is cool. This is what I want to try and grab.
Yeah, I think that's that environment Cara Red. Like,
I'm just having.
I have used it before, but it's been a while since I've used it in a sort of amount. But it is pretty cool.
Is it?
I'm down to use that.
What are you sort of getting out of it, like flavor wise?
Cara Red, I haven't used it in super high amounts. I'm just looking at the spec sheet here. It says max 25%. But like, I think if we were to almost like hit that 20% max, in the recipe, and then lean like maybe 5% Simpson's rye.
Great. Yeah.
So, and then we could from there build a bit of sweetness using some melanoidin, because melanoidin malt from Environment would it's already trending towards red.
Yeah.
And so using the Cara Red, Simpson's red rye, and maybe 10% melanoidin, we'll get like a sweetness in there.
Yep.
Because like there is some like caramel notes, it looks like, on the spec sheet from what it says. And like honey on the
as well.
on the Cara Red, but like we probably don't want to go too high in melanoidin, Cara Red, and red rye.
I think with like, I probably wouldn't do the melanoidin. Like, to me, that's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of sweetness, because it's like Maris Otter as a base plus Cara Red, giving you like
Cara Red is very much like Cara Red's already a caramel malt.
Yeah, so then it's like sweet on sweet. I think it's just like a caramel malt that's like a little bit like darker, or basically it's like their caramel malt.
Yeah, great. I mean, I'm happy, like you say, if you want to go 10% Cara Red, 5% Red Rye, and Marizotto. It sounds great, but I mean, you can tweak with
That might
those
be
percentages.
That
I
might
think
be
that's good.
as easy as it needs to be. 85%
Yeah.
Marisotto,
Yeah.
10% Red Rye, 5%, 10% Cara Red, and 5% Red Rye.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy.
Yeah,
to
you
tweak,
plug it in
you know,
and see if the color comes out right and whatever your brewing tool
Yes.
is. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, scooch it up a bit or down,
Yeah.
depending on where it needs to be for color.
Well, I'm actually, I'm doing we've got an audit coming up, so tomorrow I've got to do boring paperwork. So this will be the procrastination of getting all these numbers right for our brew kit tomorrow, so I don't have to do that as much, hopefully.
Great. Well, I'll make a note of this stuff here on the rough. I'm in Cara Red, 10%, and then I think for the hop additions, like I feel like probably just like a light bittering charge of like 10 IBUs maybe.
Yeah, agreed.
And then be putting in like, and that 10 IBUs can be like, I guess you guys you're saying target typically.
Yeah, I mean, we do typically. I mean, but I'm
we'll
happy
probably use
just to go with
682
those.
because that's kind of what we we use. But at this point, that's
Similar.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think on the bittering side, whatever you think,
exactly,
whatever works well with, really.
Whatever's
but yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the very North American approach, and I'm pretty okay with that. Is if you're boiling it for 60 minutes, it could be anything.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it depends. It depends.
So, are we saying on the bittering side, then we're gonna pick what we kind of want to use just on that side of it?
Yeah. Like you guys use target.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'll have a chat with the boys. So what I'll probably do tomorrow when we've had this finish this conversation, I'll just have a chat with the boys and then see what they're thinking. But they're pretty sound. They'll be excited to be doing this one, definitely.
Yeah. So 10 IBUs for bitter, and then we'll just try and do. Do you guys usually do a 10-minute and then like a hop back or like whirlpool edition?
Yeah. So what normally happens is because it's gravity fed. So again, from the copper, we finish boiling. We then drop it to the next level into our hot back, and then it will have a 15-minute rest. Sorry. So when we drop into the hot back, we're adding the aroma hops. Then it will have a 15-minute rest.
Yeah.
And then we do a 15-minute circulation. So basically, just running it on top of each other, and then from there we're set up. Pretty simple. Again, we do change things now a little bit here and there with some of the newer beers. We might not add some hop additions till later on or whatever, but the typical standard is basically 15-minute rest and then 15-minute circulation and then send to the FE room. So yeah, pretty standard.
Cool. So in this case, in order to get the most out of Most, and, should we do Most in the hop back, and then maybe we dry hop with Harlequin?
That'd be great. Yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah,
that way they both have a chance to like not get too muddled.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm very much a advocate of simplicity to get what you can out of something, and I think, like you were just saying, then Azlan, I think it gives both sides of it a chance to shine. And yeah, I'm really happy with using Most in the hop back and then going into Harlequin dry hop. Definitely.
Yeah,
sweet.
And what do you feel for like Most? I mean, we would probably do like 2.5 kilograms in like a whirlpool edition.
Okay.
For our 12 hex system or like 12 hex cask batch. Does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, let me just
math that up for you.
Yeah, that's right. So our system, our little pilot plant system's an 8 hex system. So yeah, I mean, we would
puts it at like
we'd probably put
1.8 kilograms.
Yeah. I've got no problem with that. We will be using leaf because it's built with that system.
Right.
If we put that much if we put that much T90, it would just block the system, and then I'd be there late, and then I'd get upset. So, but I think I would definitely, I'm happy with that. About 1.8 kilo, would work perfectly. Sounds great.
And then for Harlequin, what's your typical dry hop rate that you feel is appropriate for this style of beer? I'm gonna divert to you because I will naturally go too high.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So what we found quite a lot of the time is we did a beer once with a brewery called the Yeasty Boys. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're from
No.
originally from New Zealand, but we did a beer with them called X Ale quite a while ago, and that was quite a heavily dry hop beer. And we find if I don't like going over too much than more than 5 grams a litre if it's going into cask, because I basically believe, I believe with us a little bit is after that it starts becoming a bit of a ticking time bomb, and we've had quite a few.
We had some pretty serious hop creep issues, specifically with the Hook Norton yeast.
Oh well, there you go then.
It's hardy.
It eats away, and we had quite a few disgruntled customers when they basically tapped the cask and it either hit the hit the ceiling or hit them.
And
got them covered right in the middle of a service with their nice white shirt on. So I've always got a bit nervous if we go any more than over 5 grams.
Yeah, we don't have to roof the bombs. I think
I think it's going to shine nicely.
Like 2.5 or something.
I was just about to say a lot of our stuff now is about 2.5. Yeah, about 2.5 grams a litre.
Yeah. The thing that like I've learned so much about beer thanks to cask ale is I've learned about how to use malt. And I've learned about not just like Pilsner and wheat, which is like every North American recipe otherwise. And then just like subtlety and dry hop. Like I think I dry hopped a 12 hect batch with 1 kilogram, and I was like, that was enough that it made a lasting impact. But like it works with the beer. It's not like in your face. Yeah. So we're talking 3 kilograms of dry hop, which is like still on the high side, I think.
Yeah.
Sounds great. It's going to be a low, it's saying Harlequin's like a pretty high alpha hop. But we'll see when you get it. But I think like it wouldn't. I don't think it'd clash at that.
Yeah, no, it should work well. I think. Yeah. I think our goal. I think our goal is to kind of almost try and, not to speak for all of us, but like almost have a North American amount of hop impact on an English malt bill. Using English hops. Yeah,
I completely agree. I mean, Azlan, you'll probably get this a little bit more. I don't know how much. Forgive me. Do you do much cask sort of side of it?
I do no cask beer. I leave it to the professionals. Just we don't do any cask beer. And rarely do we even do like malt forward beers.
Okay,
I would say,
it's just so Azlan, you might get from this is it's amazing when you first rack that beer, and like I was saying to you guys earlier about the fresh, the midlife, and the best befores, it is actually quite amazing the difference of change that beer goes through from week to week to week. Because it's still a living product inside of it. It's still doing stuff. I always find the bitterness will always creep a little bit more up through the secondary fermentation. I always find it. So when it's fresh, it's very green. James always gets like off our old hooky. He'll always get like a really like a bit of an onion character off of it when it's first been racked off. And then he loses that. When we're in that midlife, it's gone. And the bitterness is coming through that little bit more. So I think you always get a little bit
as it matures bitterness and mellows.
And it really comes through that little bit more. I'm always saying, I'm always doing the same thing. We try the fresh. It's like, there's not much bitterness there, and I always go like, let's give it another couple of weeks. I guarantee you that bitterness will come through that little bit more, and a lot of the time it does. And I do find a lot more with the dry hopped beers, the perceived bitterness really does creep a little bit through cask beer. That's just my opinion. But that's one thing I've learned a little bit from it.
Yeah, the nice thing is I think like if I brew it this week, that gives us like we'll be putting it into cask on October 2nd.
Okay.
And I believe the BC Beer Conference is that the 11th?
No, it's 16, 17.
Perfect, even better.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Perfect
2
timing.
weeks in. It'll basically be 2 weeks in cask.
Great.
And this beer should be like hitting perfectly.
The spot.
Then. Yeah.
That sounds great. I was just looking at our schedule. I think it will probably be not this week, but it'll probably be the start of next week. We can definitely get it going.
We also do a large portion. So what I'll probably do is for the casks, what I'm going to do is I'll pull off the tank and I'll try and follow your priming count, not add any sugar. I'll do this.
I like that.
This is way outside of my comfort zone, by the way. Normally what we do is we let it hit terminal. We fully crash to 3 degrees. We fine in tank and then we move it to bright. And as long as we're hitting over 1 million cells per mil, we prime it with sugar and then move it to cask and can, and then we can condition.
What I'll do after this is I'll probably tomorrow now because it's past my bedtime normally this time of day.
But, exactly.
But I'll send it you tomorrow, and we have a bit of a SOP for our cask racking and things like that. So what you should be looking for in it, I'll send that across to you so you can see what we're doing. Just in case I've got any numbers wrong tonight by accident or something like that, I'll just double check all our our bits before you start doing that.
This will be great because for those who don't know, Main Street uses the Hook Norton yeast strain that was somehow smuggled over here at some point.
Still trying to work that one
out. So that's the house strain for Main Street. So it's going to be cool. We'll have both the same yeast.
Yeah,
across the pond.
I'm excited about that bit of it. That's a very cool thing for me. I still find it quite insane, really, to think that our yeast is being worked on over in the other side of the world. So it was a great experience for me to come and try it. Actually, at the source from your place was great. A really great moment. It really was.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So now we have to think of a good name for it. Maybe like if there's a Canadian band, like a Rush themed name or something like that for it.
Well, I am a massive Rush fan, so go for it.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually touch it all.
Tessa tipped me off.
Yeah, we literally. That's great. I'm glad she did. But they were the first band I ever saw live. Was Rush.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Now we have to somehow make this a Rush beer.
I know it was the 26th of October 2006, I believe, on their Snakes and Arrows tour. Yeah, that was like my first big ever concert, and that was a moment for me.
Like, now I must be a drummer, or were you already a drummer before?
I was already a drummer beforehand, but that like sealed my Neil Peart sort of love and everything about him. He's always been my biggest hero. At that point, I wasn't really actually much of a gigging musician. It was just at home, with my drum kit, and that's when I had all the toms like he did and everything. and then when you actually start going out gigging, you start realizing actually I don't want any of this. I just want a snare, a bass drum, and a floor tom and a rack tom, and that is it. When you start lugging it about yourself, then you start realizing actually no, we don't need half of this. But yeah, they're a massive love of mine. So if we can think of something with it. They got is it Red Barracuda? Is it? I can't remember.
I mean, you're probably a bigger Rush fan than both of us.
Red Barracuda, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Red Barracuda, I believe.
There you go.
So that could be something, but we're definitely look at that. But yeah,
Red Rye Barracuda. There you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, funny enough, Rebecca from Charles Fairham.
In Canada,
when I saw her last year in Yakima, she actually bought me a Rush T-shirt over from Canada. So I was like,
sweet.
What a hero from her. So yeah, they've always been a little bit of a love of mine. They really have.
Is it? So, as we bring this to a close, as a brewery of 175 years, not that you've been there for all that time, despite your weather.
Sometimes.
But what gets you excited about today's era of beer and keeps you optimistic?
Question. I like that one. I mean, if anybody knows me or anything like that, they know is that I'm a massive lover of cask beer, and I will do anything I can to try and keep that heritage going and keep breweries like ours going. Um, and we will support any other brewers or anything like that with anything. So my biggest goal for me is definitely to try and keep this cask beer alive. From that, I mean, I'm quite old school still. I truthfully do love the lower ABV beers. I do. I've been lucky enough to try all beers from all around the world, from the sources. I am somebody who likes to stick to pretty much like the 4 ingredients. I don't like to digress too much, but we do. I mean, funny enough, we just done a beer, the last Wetherspoons beer, what's going to be out in the next month or so. Not even the next month, sorry, next couple of weeks. Was with an Indian brewer called Manu, from his brewery called Effingut Brewery in India, sorry. And we used coriander in the boil, and we used lemongrass and cardamom in the
cool.
we basically made a tea.
Yeah,
we basically made a tea and added it in. That was very interesting. But what we're getting off of it is great. So I also think just trying to bring the next generation of people through and going, actually, getting them to try beer. It's always fun. It's amazing when I get, people and they're like, oh, I don't really like beer. It's like, everybody will like a beer. You just need to find the one what's for you. You always get those aromas and flavors what you want. And I guarantee you, on a tour, we get people all the time coming up and going, oh, I don't really like beer. And so, well, why don't you just try this or try that? And they go, actually, this is quite nice. It's like, well, there you go. It's just,
I think, and it's about getting rid of that mysticism about it. Like when people are more involved in the process or see what goes into it, and it's not just this thing in a can or a bottle,
Yep.
At like a place like your brewery, like people can see the work and the passion and the stuff that you put in, and it's pretty incredible.
We're still digging out one of the mash tuns pretty much by hand, where you've got like a ton and a half of malt in there, and you're having to dig down to the plug, and then you pull the plug out, and then you got to dig the malt out, and it's pretty much tops off, very steamy. You're getting sweaty. Digging it down there. It's a great hangover cure, and it's it keeps us half fit as well. But it's about showing people what the process is. People don't see us. People only see the beer at the end. They don't know what really happens a lot of the time, what's going into it. So just showing them that little bit of it. But I would definitely say, we're great believers at Hook Norton of anybody who wants to do further education and things like that. We always push them to do that. To strive to be better with our brewing, and we're always learning. And for me is just try and keep that keep beer alive, and also keep cask beer alive. Really, those are my main goals in my career. I would like to be known as one of those guys who helped it, carried it on, sort of thing.
Are you a fan of the breather system?
The breather.
Sorry?
Like the bung
Are
breather
you a fan of the breather system?
That's an off-air take.
All right.
I'm a believer of anything what can keep that beer fresh and going. I'm a believer for it. I believe in the old traditional way, but that's just the way I've learned, But there's some great systems out there where they're pushing a bit of CO2 in there and holding it, but I'm pretty old school still, unfortunately, Azlan for you. But it's
well for everybody out there, Andy didn't notice any qualms with my cask ale. That's got the breather system.
There you go then. See, there you are. What can I say?
And when you're not in the brew house, how do you spend your time?
I mean, well, as I said earlier on in this podcast, I literally just come off a 3-day golf trip to Sheffield, where basically we play golf for 4 hours just not to be in the pub, basically. so so I love playing my sport. I love, I'm an avid. I enjoy playing golf. I'm a football fan. Real football, by the way. Actual football, not not this other thing they call it.
That's fine.
And love a bit of golf. I play cricket quite a lot. I'm sure most of your listeners are thinking, "Oh my god, what a boring thing!" But no, I play a bit of cricket here and there. As I said earlier, gigging musician as well.
Still haven't figured out cricket. Can never get the
well,
rules
if you ever
right.
come over, we'll go to the game, and then you can fall asleep.
Sounds great.
The score is 143 to 200. Yeah,
it is. I do get why people think, why would you go and watch a game what takes 5 days sometimes to be played and stuff. So I do get it. But and then a gigging musician as well. So I've been live gigging musician for like 15 years. I pretty much started when I was 15 playing live gigs when I couldn't even drive, and they had to split my drum kit between the 2 cars just to get me there and put the kit together. And then just before I got into the brewing industry, I did backstage and stuff for bands beforehand. So that's what I was doing just before. But it's not the most consistent of work. And then I was just like, I kind of had enough of that sort of point. I still dip my toe in, still do a few festivals in a year. Just go back and, do the staging. But just typical, normal, sports and music and things like that, really. You
gotta keep it entertaining.
Too right. Too right. Yeah. But I definitely feel like that I've been on a 3-day drink fest.
Well, thank you so much. You seem well composed today.
I appreciate
you recover well. And,
I had to have quite a big nap beforehand, trust me. So.
And up here, thank you for the I can't remember if that was you or Becca that brought this over for the Hook Norton Bar.
It's an absolute pleasure. If you want any more, I'll send you some, no problem. But anytime. And like I say, if you guys if you're ever in the UK, please pop by, and if any of your listeners are ever in the UK and they want to pop by, please just give the brewery an email and just say that you heard me on this podcast or whatever, and then they will send their email through to me. So
that's the VIP ticket.
You're more than welcome. We'll always we like to show people around. We like to have a beer and chat everything about beer and stuff. It's kind of ingrained in us to have people. We've got like 3 tours going a day, so we're quite ingrained of having people around.
Nice.
That's great.
So if anybody ever wants to come past and say hello, please do. We love showing people around. We love having a beer. So you're more than welcome anytime.
Fantastic.
Great. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for doing this.
Absolute pleasure. No, I've really enjoyed it, and sorry if I've talked too much. I love talking.
That's what this is for.
It's a pleasure, and I'm really excited to see what these beers come out like, and
me too.
To see where they go. I'm very excited. Really excited. And I'll try and get James involved as well.
Great.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this podcast. I guess if they want to try the beers, they're gonna have to try this beer when it comes out, which will be some sort of Rush named adjacent beer made by Azlan at Main Street, and we'll announce on social media when it's ready. I have a good idea actually of where we can launch it, so hopefully we can make that happen. But and thanks everyone for listening. If they want to look up Hook Norton Brewing, you guys have like social media and all that stuff? I'm sure you guys do nowadays.
Don't worry,
old brewery, but we're
kind of up to date with things now, even though we're old school. We've got our website. Just look up Hook Norton Brewery on all ones.
Perfect.
We're on there.
Yeah, sounds good. And then so and if we have any UK listeners, this is a podcast where we talk about beer and mostly breweries in BC, but throughout Canada as well, and the UK as well as of today. But
you're our second UK guest.
Really? Who was the first one?
Chris Lewington.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. Thank you to our sponsors as well. And if you want to catch us in the next episode, just follow our Instagram where we'll post when the new episodes are coming out. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you.